Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The training program on tendering works for government bodies starts. The State Council Office discusses a proposal for a national program to enable the government bodies to provide efficient services. And in cooperation with the Ministry of Health, the World Health Organization discusses vaccination and ways to cover the needs of countries in the region of vaccine and immunization. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The three-day training program on tendering works for government bodies started at the Tender Board premises under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Rashid bin Asafi Al-Khuraibi, Chairman of the Tender Board. The program, which targets staff involved in tenders at different public organizations governed by the tender law, aims at developing the skills of participants and reviewing the latest developments in the field of tenders. It highlights the tender law, the role of the Secretariat General of the Tender Board and methods of contracting, as well as efforts and measures taken by the Tender Board to implement decisions of a Shemikhat symposium related to awarding 10% of the public purchases and tenders to small and medium enterprises. The third work paper covered by the mechanism to study and revise tender documents. The second meeting of the State Council Office for third annual round discussed topics related to supporting government approaches in innovation field that will enhance the Sultan's competitiveness as well as to achieve a pioneering position. The meeting also reviewed a proposal for the national program on performance and government creativity. It aims to enable the government bodies to provide means of proper living for citizens as well as to fulfill needs and expectations of the community of government services efficiently and effectively. The meeting was headed by His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfoud Al-Mantari, Chairman of the State Council. The Ministry of Education, represented by the Oman National Committee for Education, Culture and Science, organized a regional training workshop on the indicators of the fourth goal of the Sustainable Development Education 2030. The workshop took place at a Sundus Rotana Hotel and Countries for 3 consecutive days. It began with the committee's speech delivered by the Under-Secretary of the Omani National Committee for Education, Culture and Science. He said that this workshop reflects the Omani government attention and interest in developing human resources and providing suitable environment to be trained and qualified in the way that enables them to accomplish the goals of sustainable development on both levels, nationally and regionally. The organization of this workshop came within the framework of the UNESCO Institute for Statistics support for national abilities to produce quality data for necessary indicators of the fourth goal, which is Education 2030. The first day of the workshop reviews its goals and an introduction to the Education Program 2030. It also included a paper on data sources and international comparison. The 6th International Conference on Information and Communication Technology and Accessibility kicks off today at Sultan Qaboos University. The 3-day conference discusses 89 work papers from inside and outside the Sultanate and 17 researchers on information and communication technology. The event witnesses the participation of experts from the United Nations and includes a number of work papers on people with special needs. Acquainting with the latest scientific and technological development in the field of information and communication technology for people with special needs, the conference is considered a valuable chance for scientists, researchers and participants from various international and regional organizations and public and private sector establishments to review researches and products that facilitate usage of communication and information processes for people with special needs. Still to come in our news bulletin. Parts of Jabal Akhdar woke up to frost as the Sultanate was affected by the trough of low pressure. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Palestinian protesters clashed with Israeli troops in the West Bank today, part of the ongoing unrest sparked by the shift in U.S. policy to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Since U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement almost 2 weeks ago, daily protests and clashes have been staged by angry Palestinians. East Jerusalem is home to sensitive Jewish, Muslim and Christian holy sites. Palestinian officials have stated they will not trust the U.S. to broker any future peace deal with Israel. Hundreds of Iraqi Kurds took to the streets of Sulaymaniyah province to protest against a delay in the salaries being paid, poor services and rampant corruption. A number of demonstrators cut off the main road linking Erbil to Kirkuk. Kurdish forces fired into the air in an effort to disperse them. Protesters also set fire on the Islamic Union Party building. The Iraqi government has adopted penal measures against the Kurdish authorities following its independence referendum in September. Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi has promised to pay the salaries of the public sector workers in the country's self-ruled Kurdish region once the Kurds hand over natural resources, border crossing and airports to the federal authorities. Emergency services workers remain at the scene of a train derailment in the U.S. state of Washington early today. Federal officials confirmed that the Amtrak train was hurtling 80 kilometers per hour over the speed limit when it careened off the overpass of Seattle, spilling cars onto the highway below and killing at least 3 people. The train carriages were lifted back into the position today. It has been reported a community along the new rail line where the train derailed and tried to stop the project on ground higher-speed passenger trains would endanger pedestrians and motorists. Now for more local news. World Health Organization, represented by the Regional Office for Middle East, held the 23rd meeting of a task group of Middle East region for vaccination and immunization. The meeting was organized in cooperation with the Ministry of Health and UNICEF organization. It discussed issues related to vaccination and ways to cover countries in the region and provide them with requirements in the field of children vaccination. It included a number of objectives, including ways to support low-income countries and exchange expertise in the field. The technical committee concerned with the urban planning in the 19th meeting this year reviewed 47 technical topics themes. The meeting discussed a number of topics related to changing usages and heights of lands in addition to investment and economic projects in the governorates of North and South Sharqiya as well as Brahmi. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Engineer Saif bin Amir Al-Shakhsi, Under Secretary of Housing and head of the committee. Exchanging cordial talks and discussing a number of topics with mutual concern between the Sultanate and Republic of Korea. Top discussion of the meeting between Rear Admiral Abdullah bin Hamis Al-Raisi, Commander of the Royal Navy of Oman, with General Won In-chul, Director of Military Support in the Republic of Korea, and his accompanying delegation, who is on a current visit to the Sultanate. The activities of the Omani Theatre Festival continue in Wilaya of Sohar. The event is one of the most important theoretical and art festivals in the Sultanate. The festival has witnessed wide participation by actors and playwrights from inside and outside the Sultanate. It aims to develop the capabilities and skills of Omani actors and directors and discover new talents in this field. The activities of the festival will continue during the next 8 days. Dar Al-Ata Association held a ceremony to honor winners at Al-Ata competition in the 6th round, which targets colleges and university students. The competition aims at spreading awareness among society members about the importance of voluntary work and encouraging youth to be involved in charitable initiatives. It as well aims at improving youth skills in social works and projects planning. A team from Al-Sharqiya University won the Best Idea Project Award, whilst a team from Sultan Qaboos University won an award project with regard to the most influential in the society. Another team from the Sultan Qaboos University won the award of professionality and implementing projects. The event was presided over by Her Highness Sayyida Afra bint Talal Al Saeed. The Governorate of North Batna recorded the highest real estate trade in selling deals with issues, properties, endowments and inheritance. The value of real estate trading in November has exceeded 177 million Omani riyals, according to the report from the Ministry of Housing. The report showed that the collected fees were around 5 million riyals. The number of small and medium enterprises registered at the Public Authority for Small and Medium Enterprises, Riyadh, reached more than 8,100 from the beginning of the current year until November. The data issues by the National Center for Statistics and Information indicated that the total number of the institutions reached 31,383. Exploring the relationship between poetry and fine arts in the Omani memory, Beit Al-Zubair in Muscat opened an exhibition for Omani fine artists. The exhibition included some artworks which were a result of one-year tour by some fine artists to some different places. The event came as part of the intellectual seminar on the relationship between the poetry and fine arts. The seminar will be held in Beit Al-Zubair with the participation of a number of Omani and Arab writers. The Directorate General of Heritage and Culture in the Governorate of Dhofar held a ceremony to celebrate the World Arabic Language Day, which falls on 18th of December each year. The event, which witnesses a participation from the Governorate's students, included visual representations and lectures on the importance of preserving Arabic language during daily life. The ceremony aims to enhance the role of the Arabic language in various fields, as considering it an official approved language in international organizations and authorities. Some areas in Al-Jabal Al-Akhdar witnessed the formation of frost accompanied by low temperatures due to the Sultanate being affected by the trough of low pressure in the past few days. Here are some of the pictures of the frost in one of the areas. The Literary Forum at the Ministry of Heritage and Culture, in collaboration with Wali Bidbid Office, organized a two-day seminar entitled Bidbid Through History. Our reporter Saleh bin Khalfan Al-Rahbi has more details in the following report.
The Wilaya of Bidbid is the gateway linking Al-Dakhliya Governorate with other governorates of the Sultanate. It is about 70 kilometers away from the Governorate of Muscat. Samail borders it from the south, Dima wa Tayin to the east, and Muscat from the north. Fanja Bridge is the emblem of this wilaya. To explore its historical potentials, the seminar Bidbid Through History was held over a period of 2 days, giving the attendees an opportunity to learn about the features of this wilaya.
These papers actually give us a clearer and a clearer pictures about the rich history of this wilaya, the importance, the geologists, the scholars, and the number of castles and forts, and its economic potentials and investments, and the mining, the coppers, the mountains. And actually we feel very, very proud of this histories of this wilaya, which come at the beginning of Dakhliya Governorate.
7 papers were presented at the seminar. The first paper dealt with the strategic location of Bidbid and its geological features, mentioning that some rocks in this wilaya were formed 66 million years ago. The second paper focused on the historical aspect of the wilaya and how it contributed in facilitating the exchange of trade caravans throughout history. The third paper presented 50 scholars who lived in this wilaya, including 2 ancient scholars, Sheikh Al-Hadi ibn Ibrahim, who lived in the 2nd century after Hijrah, and Sheikh Khalid bin Muhammad, who lived in the 5th century after Hijrah. The other papers shed light on the cultural heritage of Bidbid, its economic importance and prospective investment opportunities, the achievements of the wilaya during the Renaissance period, and the presence of this wilaya in the Omani press.
Generation should know about Bidbid heritage, because our culture is divided for 2. Like some of these, we can write it and record, but the other part of heritage we cannot record or write. It's need to show the youngest or the generation to know about this kind of heritage, because as I seen right now, most generation or most younger, they do not know about this kind of heritage, about this wilayat.
On the sidelines of the event, there was an exhibition that included paintings highlighting the most important cultural landmarks in Bidbid, such as castles, forts, villages, and documents showing the most prominent occasions and celebrations that took place in this wilaya. The endeavor is to produce a solid reference about the cultural, scientific, literary, and economic activities of Bidbid. This collaborative effort will further facilitate extensive research in this regard. From the wilaya of Bidbid, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Dakhliya Governorate.
Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Partly cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Sea of Oman and Hajar Mountains with chances of scattered rainfall. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies and winds will be north to northwesterly, light to moderate, occasionally active. Seas will be moderate with a maximum wave height of 2 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The training program on tendering works for government bodies starts. The State Council Office discusses a proposal for a national program to enable the government bodies to provide efficient services. And in cooperation with the Ministry of Health, the World Health Organization discusses vaccination and ways to cover the needs of countries in the region of vaccines and immunization. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studios and the newsroom, it's good night.